This podcast today that you are joining me for, my sexy little baby, is going to be about how you switch from people pleaser to unbothered. Because life is too freaking short to care so much about what people think. I love people, me. I am number one people gal. Not really. I kind of love my own space, but I live for people. I live for my kids. I live for my family. I live to talk to you guys. It's something that is super important to me, okay? So don't take it for granted like I don't care. But I think a lot of people don't understand how to be unbothered without feeling like they are going to alienate people, without feeling like they're going to be seen as weird and be ill-talked of in the village, God forbid. Everybody wants to belong. We are a social animal. We want to belong. I understand why that is a prerogative for you, and it is for me as well. It's very, very important, but it actually ruins your life if you don't use it wisely. Always thinking about what people think will ruin your life. Why? Because you don't actually know what people want. You only have a perception within your own idea of what people want and this kind of people-pleasing notion of jumping through hoops for people. But the truth is, you might be doing the opposite of a good thing for people. Do you know that friend who is like overly concerned with your opinion and what you think? No, you choose the place. No, I don't mind where we go. No, I don't mind what time. You want to shake them and be like, brother, can you just decide? Or sister, can you just decide on what it is? Because I also want to make you happy. When it's impossible to make a person happy, it actually puts people off trying to make them happy. And I'm going to go into a lot of these things, but I just want to pause and stop hammer time and tell you one thing before we dive into it. And that is, a lot of you guys write to me and you say, oh, I've been unbothered. I've been not caring what people think. And I've been cold and all these things. And people don't do things for me now. Like, he won't do the thing. He won't take out the trash. He won't hang up the shelf. You're missing a massive part of it. And I just wanted to put this in the beginning because I want to answer the questions that you have. You still have to have a sandwich of unbotheredness, but the filling has to be genuine, extroverted, happy appreciation of when people do things that you love, right? So if you're being unbothered with your mans, and it means unbothered emotionally in terms of not hanging your emotional baggage onto someone else and having your own sovereignty and having your own capabilities of making yourself happy. It does not mean being cold and weird and impossible to make happy. I just wanted to put that out there, okay? So we are going to go through some shifts of how to become unbothered, stop overthinking what people think, and finally enter your unbothered era. And if you really want to solidify this, I've created the Unbothered Reset. It is free. So do not forward this as I'm saying this. It is absolutely free. It's a resource for everyone who wants to regulate their emotional system, to work on their attachment style, to finally get it through their beautiful brain what being unbothered and valuing yourself and having true confidence means. If you go down in the description box below or comment reset on any of my Instagram stories or posts, I created a way that you can do that. Just comment reset in capital letters or go down on the link in this description box of this podcast or YouTube video and click it, and you fill in your email. Every day you will get one email for 30 days on a way that you can become unbothered, reset and regulate your nervous system and become that bitch. And I called you bitches on one of my Instagrams, and somebody wrote to me, don't call me bitch, Margarita. Don't tell me what to do. Okay? I'm kidding. I love you guys. Okay, so the angles that we need to explore when we talk about being unbothered is the cool girl act. Unbothered is not an act. Unbothered is genuinely finding value in your own self and in what you want to do in your life, and valuing your North Star and your compass and understanding who you are and becoming actual friends with yourself and moving forward with the notion of self-knowledge and self-possession, as opposed to trying to act in any type of way. You're not trying to act cool. You're not trying to act in any way. It is not an act. Acting is the thing that derails you. Knowing is the thing that keeps you on track. It is caring about your own values. It is caring about people in your life. It's not outsourcing your self-value and self-worth to someone else. That is the opposite of a people pleaser. You know you're a good person. You know you do things for a good, valuable reason. You know what matters to you matters to you. You don't let other people influence you, because if you do, you'll be like driftwood, coming from one person to the next person, and you don't have a true persona, okay? It is exhausting to always try and make other people happy, and it's a recipe for disaster, because people who are attracted to people who want to just make others happy at the expense of everything else are narcissists, and they just want to use you for the things that you will give them, as opposed to having a relationship that is interconnected and balanced, okay? A version of you that is bothered and a version of you that is unbothered is very different for people when they come into your life. A version of you that is bothered is preoccupied with making someone else happy. And the reason that we as women do this is because, especially with men and with women, but especially with men, is because a man finding us pleasing, which is the last thing that a man wants, to be pleased by you, because it's deeply annoying, right? He just wants to make a woman happy and wants to be in her presence and for you to have your own thing going on. But when you are like they're like a puppy, like trying to make him pleased by you, okay, you're actually annoying him. But the reason you're doing that is because you want safety. It's an anthropological thing, a biological thing. If a man is displeased with you at any moment, when the lion comes out of the bush, he could be like, I'm not going to save you. So I understand why you want to be pleasing to him. That's why those memes exist where he's turned around and he's thinking about how to change his tire, and she's thinking he must be thinking about how much he hates me. It is built into us biologically to be hardwired to think, does he hate me or not? Because God forbid a foreign horde of mammoths comes and attacks me. Will he protect me or not? That is not the world we're living in. You need to learn to reset your nervous system and also not be triggered by micro expressions that he has, right? It's fine. It's fine to care what he thinks. And when it comes to women, we know exactly the same way biologically that we as a woman society need to be together, to sit around the fire, to look after each other's children, to make sure everyone is good. So when you see Becky over there is looking at you sideways, you're thinking, uh-oh, how do I make her happy so she doesn't, push me in the fire next time we are all sitting together? It's very, very normal. It's very, very natural. But let's shift it, because what you're going to do is you're actually going to put people off. If you have this frayed, nervous energy, always trying to be liked by everybody, people understand that you also don't value them for them. You're not actually seeing them and being like, oh, this is a nice person, I'm spending time with them. You're always apologizing. You're never having your own opinion. You make it very, very hard to be with you and actually unpleasant, okay? I used to live my life like this because growing up, my story was my father was not interested in having a relationship with me in a very, very classic Eastern European way that I've discovered that a lot of other countries don't have. If you're my Eastern European girly, comment in the comment box, okay? Because everyone in the Western world used to ask me, oh, how come you don't have a relationship with your father? And they expected something logical and adult from the side of him. By the way, I don't blame him at all. God bless him. Jesus protect him. Do what you got to do. I am who I am because of him, and I look like him, so hey, that's my face. Actually, I've started to look like my mum as I've grown up. I guess it's the micro expressions, right? But this very, very Eastern European way of being, where how you guys write to me and you're like, oh my god, a guy ghosted me, then he said he's interested, then he said he's not, then he said he'd meet me, but he stood me up. Put that and layer it on exactly how Eastern European girls whose fathers aren't around experience their father relationships. It's like being in a relationship with a 20-year-old guy who's not sure about you. It is the most bizarre thing, and it's like, boy, I'm not dating you. You're like my dad. Like I didn't choose you. You kind of had me. So what that created in me was this tendency to try and jump through hoops in order to think that if I was pretty enough, I did Miss Universe. If I was smart enough, I got a scholarship to school. If I did this or that, he would finally turn around, much like you guys do with that guy who's ghosting you. I know, you think Jared is going to finally turn around and be like, she's good enough because she lost weight, put on weight, got a butt, lost a butt, whatever it is you think, right? He won't. Because if a man likes you, he will like you. And if a family member wants to be around you, they will be. And when I had children and got to the big age of 30 and had my own children, it struck me on the head like, that it's not about that. It's not about pleasing him. It's about having your own life. Oh my God, life is so short. Do not waste it trying to make someone happy who's not possible to make happy. You know what I mean? I only let go of it and became unbothered, and it completely unlocked in me all these ways in which I tried to people please with my friends, with my exes, with everybody, even with my current husband. And people see you for the real beauty that you have. Do you know the amount of times my husband's like, oh my God, I love you so much more now that we're together? You know, people talk about losing the spark. Ever since I became unbothered, it's almost like he can see the true value I have. I don't know if you saw my Instagram post lately, how I used to look when I was bothered versus unbothered. Here, this is me bothered and this is me unbothered. And if you are listening to this as opposed to watching, then go onto my Instagram. You will see a puffy-faced red fish who really cared about what people think and cried when they did not act in a way that she saw fit. The cortisol has to leave your body, okay? Because you're stressed. You're stressed. And how are we going to do that? First of all, you're going to join the reset and you're going to get 30 emails from me every day that I've pre-written for you. Yeah? And you are going to regulate yourself and you are going to move forward with that. And also these points that I'm going to share with you now. Get ready. The first shift you need to make is to go from the role of auditioning for someone to auditioning them for your play. Life is a play and you need to be auditioning people. Do you really want them in your life? I had an ex before, love him, bless him, but I wouldn't actually love to spend my life with him. I didn't want to live where he wanted to live. I didn't want to do what he wanted to do, but I was so cyclical and obsessed in trying to make him happy because I was just so bothered about people as opposed to bothering where they were the right person for me or not, that I got deeper and deeper into the relationship and trying to people please him, when in reality, had I been the one who's auditioning him to be in my play, I would have never chosen him. Yes, he was cute or whatever. I can't even remember. It was 500 years ago. But he was not the person I wanted to spend my life with. Like, our lifestyles are so vastly different. It is crazy. Most women scan the room for approval to see if they are approved of, as opposed to whether they approve of the person. First, sit down and check. Write this in your diary. Is this guy, I'm going to talk in this podcast about it being a guy because it's just easier. Let's call him Derek. Is Derek right for me? Do I want Derek's lifestyle? Is Derek going to be the type of person I want to be with? Or is Derek a 50-50 guy who won't even pay for the first date and only talks about soccer every time you see him, and you're just so desperately trying to make him happy because he kind of makes you feel like your father made you feel when he rejected you at some point in your childhood, even if your dad is around. You know what I mean? Maybe he didn't have time for you and Derek triggers that in you. Really think, has this person got the qualities that you want? Do I actually want them for me? And you need to think about that and see. And if they are, then we move on to the second point. And if they are not, then you need to understand that they've just triggered your nervous system and you just want to be calmed and almost blanketed by the fact that you can make this person who reminds you of a person in your neurological system who rejected you in the past. Yeah, that's all it is. Number 2, you need to stop, Jessica, explaining yourself to people who are set on misunderstanding you. Now we're going to pivot from Derek to his parents. Derek's parents don't like you, okay? They don't like you, and they keep understanding everything you do as a facetious, wrong, bad, arrogant, whatever way they see you. And I know that they see you this way because I see you in my DMs, okay? You committing yourself to trying to explain to a person who's set on misunderstanding you and you committing to trying to make yourself be seen correctly is a recipe for disaster, because you should be focusing on your life, being the person you want to be, and not trying to explain yourself. Never complain, never explain. Healthy clarification happens once. I didn't bring a turkey to the roast because I thought my sister was bringing it. Is a clarification. You apologizing, bringing a turkey 7 times afterwards and saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't bring the turkey, is now an apologetic performance that does not need to happen, and people feel it on a cellular level that you just want to be liked as opposed to being in your own lane. If someone has decided who you are and they do not like you, then God bless them, let them choose. Let people choose. Stop trying to control people and make them feel how you feel about something, okay? Next time you feel the urge to send a paragraph, send one calm sentence and you'll learn that in the reset, okay? Oh, by the way, also, Unbothered is back. Unbothered, my masterclass, it's a 3-day transformation. So if you don't want to do the reset and you want to really get into the real, do Unbothered. Go on my website, margaritanazarenko.com. I'll leave it at the bottom too. And do Unbothered before the year starts. Do it before the year starts. It will change your life, if I do say so myself. Number 3 is let people be wrong about you. That's a release of control. You cannot control other people's brains, minds, or lives, okay? The imaginary courtroom in your head where you're constantly trying to defend yourself. I know you play out the scenarios. I used to play out the scenarios where you say who you are and how you are and that you're actually beautiful and nice and kind and all these things. People don't give a shit, Okay, they don't give a shit, Jessica. They don't care who you are. They've decided to think a certain thing about you or not. Like, the guy just doesn't want you. Derek doesn't want you that much. He's having you around because you are objectively beautiful, kind, and nice, and he does not feel that way about you. That's not your problem, but he'll have you around because he doesn't want to be alone, because having a woman around is an asset, believe it or not, right? The story that people have about you is impacting your nervous system, and it needs not to. You need to care more about what you think and not what other people think. In-laws, friends, all these things. Choose a situation this week where you consciously understand that people might not like you, but you don't try and change the narrative. You don't try and talk to your friends about it. You don't try and explain it. Do you know how powerful it is when you're unbothered? People, first week, you're going to be like, oh, this feels so uncomfortable. I don't over-explain myself. After about a month, you're going to reach unicorn status. People are going to be in awe of you, how you waft through life like a swan, not giving a shit about what people think. It's infectious and it's contagious. This feeling of being self-satisfied and content, okay? Number 4 is replace approval chasing with self-respect rituals. What you would have done to make other people happy and constantly trying to jump through hoops for them, you need to now fill it with something. I do this with the diet, okay? Instead of trying to cut things out, you flood yourself with things that are good for you and have a perspective and rituals that are good for you. From skincare to foods to everything, you need to push out other people's opinions by first giving yourself value. And you know how you give yourself value? By giving yourself time for skincare, food, and all these things. How can you possibly disrespect a person who you invest so much time in, that person being you? Because before you watch this video, you invested your time in other people's opinions and their life. Don't lie to me, Jessica. I know that you care more about what your boyfriend wants to eat than what you want to eat and what you need to do and where you need to go. You care more about what his family think, okay? You bend over backwards and you abandon yourself. Then you wonder why you don't love yourself and why you don't care about yourself. Because your body, your inner child, is watching yourself and being like, oh, she doesn't care about me. I'm not valuable. So why should I care about me? It's a breaking a cycle. You start caring about yourself and then you care about yourself more. Tangible examples that I can give you is I used to stay at a party way beyond a time I wanted to be there. Pardon me, guys. You were in the sun too long, so we've got to bring you down a notch. Okay? I used to stay because I wanted to be well thought of. I didn't want to offend people. But at the end of the day, when people are having a party, people show up. It's important to come early, let people know that you're there, say hello, and then you can bounce. You can keep going. You don't need to be there sacrificing yourself and your life or replying to every group chat is also what I used to do. I used to be in the group chats and making sure that I reply to every comment. People do not do that. Me, I used to reply because God forbid someone feels bad about it. You want to feel relatable. You want to feel lovable. You want to do all these things. Stop it. Do not do it. Number 5 is, I know this is your mentality because it's like we all have a village mentality that everyone in the village is kind of judging us because of our anthropological, biological brain, but you need to unsubscribe from their opinion. Unsubscribe. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You think about people as if they're actively sitting there on a panel judging you. They are not. You need to understand that even though it seems to you like your life is important, to people it is not important. Even if you did the craziest, wackiest things, walked on the road half naked with a raccoon on your head, people might remember you for the raccoon on your head. Actually, that is pretty impressive. But people don't care. People don't care that much. People care about themselves. No one is thinking about you as much as you're thinking about you. You are your own responsibility. You are the one who you've got to make happy. Do things to antagonize the imaginary audience. Do things you want to do and don't give a shit about what they think. And because they don't. At the end of the day, they don't. Can you imagine sacrificing your life and what you want to do and how you want to live for people who don't actually even care? It's almost selfish. I feel like it's almost like this paradox where I've heard about it before, that people who get into a cycle of depression and they cannot get out of bed, I'm not talking clinical, but I'm just talking like self-imposed from lifestyle, is because they care about so much about what people think about them, right? They focus out when they need to just focus in and do something, activate, go out. You know what I mean? They think so much about, I had a friend like this. She thought so much about what people think. Oh my God, if I wear this, oh my God, if I do that, oh my God. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. Number 6 is something that I learned and changed my life, and that is the grey rock method, or the art of neutral responses. We always think we've got to give people something, give them a response, give them an idea, give them a reaction. The grey rock method is when someone is trying to take your energy, you do not react emotionally, whether it be with emotional like, oh my God, that's amazing, or that's so bad. You have a neutral response. Okay, great. Yeah. People who are toxic and you cannot get rid of them, in-laws, work, colleagues, people like that, grey rock method, look it up. Instead of over justifying or being too excited or being too angry or being responsive, just one-line responses, neutral ones. You imagine yourself like a grey rock. What would a grey rock say? It's a very powerful thing, because you don't feed people, because sometimes people are very toxic, with an expectation, okay? You feed them with a neutral response and it will infuriate them, but after a while it will set you free. We talk more about that in the reset. I think a key that is very important, and this is number 7, is you don't become an island. That is the part where I talk about being unbothered without being weird, or just unapproachable or strange, is you need to build an inner circle of 1 or 2 people or 3 that you trust, and not all for the same thing. Maybe you trust Amanda because you're Jessica with how you look. Maybe you trust Rhonda with how you speak. Maybe you trust Rebecca with your moral compass. I have some friends who are very moral, some friends who are very fashionable, some friends who are this, that, and the other, and they don't overlap sometimes. But you need to understand that you need to choose your own panel. You can't care what Derek thinks about your clothes. When women are like, oh, he doesn't like when I wear. As who? Who appointed him? He's disappointed. Who appointed him? Who appointed him as your husband? One of the girls wrote to me, oh, my man doesn't like it when I'm online in a bikini. I said, your man who? Your husband? Because now you're legally bound together, so I guess his opinion matters, because someone can come and do something to you or say something or whatever, right? I'm trying to look for an out for her, right? He must be her husband. No, he's my boyfriend. How long have you been dating? 2 months. 2 months! Who appointed him to be disappointed? And how you're wearing a bikini? As who is he judging you? As who? As general public? Gen pop? As an NPC? Who is he? I don't know him. Why is he giving opinions? You need to pick your board. You need to assign your board in the same way that people assign kind of like a CEO and a COO. You need to assign people. Don't let people be disappointed who have not been appointed. Number 8 is regulate your nervous system before you try and change yourself or change your image, okay? Caring what people think is actually anxiety, and it's not logic, yeah? It's an anxiety that flares up, and you need to address it on a cellular level. You need to address it with meditation, with walking 10K steps a day. If you're not walking 10K steps a day, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk with you because you're not regulated. You're always on your phone. Breath work, box breaths. I've told you, 4 seconds breathing in, 4 seconds holding, 4 seconds breathing out. Okay? There's box breaths. Yeah? 4 in, hold, out. Rituals, routines, journaling. If you haven't got my journal, get that. If you don't want my journal, write it on a piece of paper. You can create an equilibrium in your body that doesn't exist otherwise, because sometimes it's just the anxiety appearing real, which isn't real. You cannot always rely on someone else to calm you down, because then you will be addicted, much like, you know, those mice that always press the lever to get the candy when they experiment on mice, and then if the lever doesn't produce the candy, the mouse gets addicted to pressing the lever. That is the experiment that they've done, as opposed to if it's regular and the candy always comes, the mouse does not get addicted. So when it's irregular reinforcement, like you're looking for Derek's opinion on you and approval, if he doesn't always get it and give it to you, it's a human response, not because you like him, but because it's human to then become addicted to getting his approval, okay? So have rituals which you rely on, again, those are in the reset, that will stabilize you. So Derek doesn't have to, because we can't get addicted to Derek. Number 9 is interesting because you need to understand how rare it is that you're alive and understand how grateful you need to be. Gratitude is huge for me. Huge. That's why I made the journal with it about that. Every day, 3 things that make you grateful. And you need to detach from outcomes and attach to identity instead, okay? Because outcomes, micro outcomes, whether you got the job, where someone laughed at you, whether you were understood, whether you weren't, is very unreliable. And life is such a precious, finite thing, especially when you have people in your life that you, like for me, after having children, it just blew open my concept of who I am in my life, because they became so precious to me and are precious to me that I was like, wow, I need to really, everyone who's wasting my time can go to the left, because I just don't have time for this, because these creatures are so precious. I'd rather be the woman who honors herself and loses people, and honors the people that matter to me and loses people, than the woman who betrays herself and keeps everyone. Because the legacy you write is how much you respect yourself, okay? You need to make that shift of micro outcomes, micro comforts. Oh, everyone's happy with me, everyone likes me, to being like, I don't give an F what people think. The core, this is number 10, of being unbothered is prioritizing your own opinion and your own self-worth. So the challenge for number 10 is, what can you say no to? What are you doing for other people that you should be doing for you? Is it meal prepping? Is it going to bed early? Or is it the other way around? Is it saying, no, actually, I'm going to go out with my friends and I'm going to see them, as opposed to always staying in because your partner likes to be on the sofa? The core of it is understanding who you are, showing up for yourself so that your body learns that you are important. Because you are. Guys, it's been real. I need to go and run a few errands and then collect my kids. I love you lots, like Jelly Tots. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.